Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's have a look at some of the other stocks that are on the move today in Europe. We are joined by our equities reporter, Joe Easton, to look at those stocks moving in Europe. Good to have you. Handbags at dawn for the luxury sector. Today we had the results out from Hermès, but actually it was a bit of a battle. It does look like it's been a bit of a battle to get those sales in, hasn't it?
Yeah, so Hermès actually giving a surprising miss on their quarterly sales numbers. The quarterly sales were around 1 percentage point. Struggled to get my words out there. Missing expectations from analysts. However, bear in mind that this is a company that sells around 16 billion euros worth of luxury goods per year, so not too bad. But those Birkin bags just kind of missing the very high end of expectations. I was on their website earlier. Some of those bags selling for about 80 grand a piece. So it's kind of not, you don't just pop down to the shop for one. I think it's...
well, you and I don't.
Well,
but
no.
Yeah.
But I think so Hermès, the big news earlier in the week, of course, becoming the biggest European luxury goods company, overtaking LVMH after LVMH's disappointing numbers, and it's just about clinging on to that spot at the moment, but missing expectations and down 4%.
Siemens Energy is the best performer at the start of European trading. Shares have been very active this morning. Why?
So the company reporting really strong margins in both its wind turbine and grid business. The stock jumping 11% at the moment, by far the biggest mover on the stock 600 today. Now that takes its 1 year gain to around 260%. Now the company had a really tough start to its life when it was spun out of Siemens, the conglomerate Siemens, but it has actually recovered. A lot of that was due to some issues in the US with some projects, but really rallied from the lows over the past year. Adding to that at the moment, and also their electric grid business, the traditional businesses alongside the renewables, doing well as well. So Siemens Energy, best performing stock today.
And let's check out Sainsbury's, the UK retailer, of course. They delivered on results.
So Sainsbury's, they have kind of beaten some of the low end of expectations. So this was a report that was expected to be weak because a few weeks ago we had an update from Asda, which is privately held, of course, but that was basically a profit warning. They said that there's too much competition in supermarkets. Then we had Tesco saying the same thing, saying that competition really stepped up from Lidl, Aldi and all the other main players. So this was expected to be weak, and it is actually very weak. Sainsbury's basically saying they aren't going to see any profit growth at all in the year ahead. However, this was already priced in, so the stock actually gaining around 3%. Sainsbury's also going to buy back £200 million of shares and issue a £250 million special dividend. So that kind of probably being done to appease those investors that aren't going to see much profit growth over the next year.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.